move over one of my older YouTube videos that I'm downloading and converting to DV. Lastly, I need some screenshots for the video, and the iMac G3 can read the format without conversion, so that saves a couple of seconds. Now, how am I gonna transfer the DV and PNG files over to the iMac G3? This may seem strange, but this old flip video camcorder. Why? Well, my vintage Macs are too old to be able to read relatively modern flash drives, but they will recognize this flip camera, and you can put files on it. So let's plug it in and copy the files to it. After unplugging, it's time to transfer, right? One problem. On the iMac G3, there's only 2 USB ports that are way too close together, so I can't plug in the mouse and the camera at the same time. Yes, I tried plugging it into the keyboard's USB port, but I get a low power notice. So instead, I'm gonna plug it into another vintage Mac I have, the iBook G4, and I'm gonna turn on the iMac G3 while holding down the T key, which puts it into target disk mode. What does that do? Well, if I plug a FireWire cable from the iMac G3 to the iBook G4, the iMac shows up as a flash drive, which means I can move over files from the flip camera to the iMac G3 through the iBook G4. Now, I'm not gonna edit like this. Instead, I'm gonna edit downstairs on the kitchen table. Note that it's 2 AM and my parents are sleeping in the next room over, so I have to be very quiet. To get the full iMac G3 editing experience, I'm gonna be using an iMac G3 keyboard and a puck mouse. Yes, I hate myself. Okay, that wasn't very quiet. Maybe I should have plugged in the earphones I will be using first. Like the wallpaper? Also, sorry for the rainbow CRT issue. And there's all the files I need on the desktop. Let's start up iMovie version 3. All of the files look like they can be played, so let's import them. Are you serious? I didn't think it would take that long. I left for about 30 minutes, and when I came back, this was on the screen. I'm gonna be dealing with space issues for a while, so delete the already imported files from the desktop and continue importing the rest. The iMac G3 started to get very hot. After 5 hours, yes, 5 hours, it's 6 AM right now, I can finally start editing. So, as you watch this time-lapse of me editing on the iMac G3 with iMovie version 3, I'm gonna tell you my experience with it. First off, the timeline zoom won't let you have any blank space, so even if you have a second of footage in the timeline and the zoom is all the way out, the 1 second of footage fills up the entire timeline. It's not a huge deal, but it makes me feel claustrophobic for some reason. To move the playhead, you have to click or drag in the section that looks like a ruler. If you click in the timeline area, it just jumps to the beginning of the clip you're clicking near. Also, it's annoying when the movie is playing for the timeline to move with the playhead. And it is way too easy to move the entire iMovie window, as the area above and below the timeline can be used to drag around the entire iMovie window, which was annoying at some points when trying to scroll across the timeline. How I cut up the footage to the parts that I needed was to move the playhead to one area and hit Command T to split. Then to another area, split that, and delete the unneeded section in the middle. Also, there is no drag to trim clips, is what I first thought. Turns out, you can drag to trim clips. Not in the timeline, but you have to click on a single clip, drag the 2 triangles to where you want the clip to start and end, and hit Command K. That would have been much easier, but my dumbass used Command T and delete for the entirety to edit together the needed parts of clips. Even if I had to trim 0.1 seconds, I still split the video and deleted the 0.1 seconds. To rearrange clips in the timeline, you have to cut and paste. You can't drag or else you create black gaps in the timeline. Another problem I had with the software was there was no way to show audio waveforms, unlike newer versions of iMovie, which is very important to me, because I use them to see which parts of long footage I need and to know which takes are mess-ups. So, to know which parts of footage I need, I have to watch through the entire thing, even the embarrassing speaking slip-ups. I also never wanted to undo something, because there was a glitch where if you undo something, it beach balls and jumps you to the beginning of the timeline. I experimented with adding text, which is a confusing process. Since all the text options are animated, you have to play with the speed and pause times to get it to fit into the clip you want the text in. See the math equation? Make the total time the same as the clip you want it in, or else the text will spill over into the next.
Hey Sweden.
Are you ready? It's time to start the engines.
Watch Formula 1 live on 5.
Text clip, or be too short. When you want to add the text, drag it to the clip. Takes a while for it to render, and there you go. I also played with adding some video effects, but unlike the newer versions of iMovie, you can actually add multiple effects, but there's no good way to manage them. If you want to delete an effect, you have to undo, but if you did other stuff and don't want to undo them, you have to go to Advanced on the top and click Restore Clip, which deletes all the effects. The stupidest effect is electricity, when there's just a random bolt of lightning on screen. Speaking of